The check-in is a live, topic-based stream where real people share real moments and the lessons that came with them. We pause, reflect, and check in with ourselves and each other. No pressure, no perfection, just presence. Hi, happy Sunday, everyone. So tonight the check-in is going to be a peach edition. Um, so if you were looking for Toya, I am so sorry she will not be joining us tonight. But because I like to be consistent, we're going to push on and we're going to talk about the topic that she selected, which is co-parenting. So please, if you are tuning in, say hello, share this live. I probably dropped the link earlier so that you could come up and share your co-parenting stories or just share how you feel. So before we actually get into the topic, well, before I see, I'm used to saying we, before I actually get into this topic, I want you to take a few seconds, close your eyes, just close them. And I want you to think about, would you be a great co-parent? Would you be great at co-parenting? And also, what are the pros and cons of it? And then if you don't know what co-parenting is, close your eyes and just imagine them. Well, I don't know what it is. Maybe you don't have any children. What is co-parenting? Take a moment to look it up. While you're thinking, I'm going to go ahead and share my week. As usual, my week is always crazy, 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 crazy. First off, if you watched on Friday when I did the check-in, yes, we have a check-in on Friday. So please, for that, you have to tune in on my actual channel, which is at Peach ENT Brands on YouTube. Or if you're watching from the multiple Facebook pages, it'll stream on there. It also streams on my TikTok. All of it is at Peach ENT Brands. Um, and that check-in was very awesome. Very, very awesome. I have guests on there with me. The first guest I had was Tim. Awesome. We talked about fuck your type. It got interesting. Let me tell y'all, my TikTok has been going crazy with the amount of women that's responding to what Tim had to say about F your type and the type of women he's dated in his life. I also have behind the scenes footage of that show where Tim divulged some personal stuff about his dating life, but you have to go into my mobile app. So I'm gonna put that QR code up there. But before I got to the check-in on Friday, the Peach Edition, my week was very hectic. I felt like I lived at my job. I'm like, oh my God, do I even go to bed? I feel like I'm just waking up into my career. I was literally working from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. consecutive, 2 to 3 consecutive days. And they just weren't normal work days where I went in and did medications and treatments. Now, if you don't know, if this is your first time following, I am a pediatric home care nurse. So I work with the chitlins under 18 years of age. My current patient is 10. So most of my day consists of giving him, getting up and down, giving treatments, giving medicine, and things of that nature. And he has something for you to do every hour on the hour, damn near. But added to this mix of me working from 7 to 10, I also had to do some hospital runs with him to get some special day medicine. So it was just a lot. So I'm just waking up and I literally get up at 4:30 in the morning, get dressed, have my tea, get in my car, drive to my patient's house, get off at 10, takes me an hour damn near to get home, and then back up at it again. And I did it for 2 to 3 consecutive days. So by the time I got to the check-in on Friday, I was exhausted. Exhausted. Like I even had a conversation with Mel, like, yo, listen. That's the other executive producer of the show, to check out. I'm like, yo, I am exhausted, but I'm going to push through. I'm going to push through and I'm going to do the check-in for Friday because everybody's expecting the check-in. Hello, Sunshine Yellow. Thank you for joining me on TikTok. And I was like, I'm just going to push all the way the hell through. And I pushed through. Successful show, like I just expressed. The check-in on Fridays is much more animated. It goes much more harder than the one on Sunday. We kind of ease you in on Sunday. Then Friday, we just go all the way off the rails, me and my guests. Well, we will go off the rails. So when I got off of that live, it is much longer. I got off at 12 o'clock, right? 12 o'clock. Hello, Dwayne Williams on TikTok. Got off at 12 and my body was in pain. Pain, like big pain. Like I could feel every last joint muscle in my body. When I laid down, it felt like pins and needles. I was like, oh my God. And then guess what? I slept. I got back up for some reason at 5, 6 in the morning, had my little conversations with whomever I needed to speak to. And then went right back to sleep, set my alarm, and then I checked in with you guys again. So if you aren't following me on my page, it's a lot that you are missing because I actually check in with everyone on a Saturday. I did it between 12 and 12:30. So I guess we could say 12-ish because you never know. I'm not on time. So I checked in around that time and I told you my thought of the day, which was take care of yourself because last week I did not take care of myself. I ran myself ragged to the ground. So I had to come on there and say, listen, y'all, especially my females, take care of yourself. Don't be like me. Oh my God. I was just absolutely tired by the time I got off that check-in on Friday. But it was an awesome check-in, and I had a fabulous time doing so. I see more people coming in the room. This is the check-in. Toya will not be joining me tonight. I don't know. She might be at some luxurious dinner outside and she didn't invite a bitch, but I'm still here because I believe in consistency and I love you guys. All right. So I'm here. So tonight's topic is co-parenting. And she selected this topic. And just like the topic last week, spirits, I don't know where Toya be going with this because I was like, co-parenting. Do I really got to look inside myself and admit that, my feelings about co-parenting, are we going there? So yeah, we are actually going there. We are actually going to talk about this topic. And I have a lot of taboo feelings about co-parenting. And I'm sure you guys probably have, your feelings about it. And I hope that everyone, as usual, when you come in to check in, everybody can go ahead and release, and nobody's feeling any kind of way about anything that's said on this show. Because I'm probably going to say some wild shit that people's just going to be like, look, this bitch, she is crazy. She's crazy. But we're going to get into it. Hey, NY Nikki Mel is here. Thank y'all for joining me. Toya will not be here tonight. All right. So I asked you at the top of the show, can you be a great co-parent? Just look inside of yourself. Could you imagine yourself co-parenting? Would you be great at it? And I also asked you, what is the pros and cons of being a co-parent? Told y'all to mull that over in your mind. And then I asked, if you don't know what a co-parent is, would you be willing to admit that in the chat? Admit it. Are you an excellent co-parent, or do you not even know what a co-parent is? Because I'm going to tell you. Because before she selected this topic, I actually did my research because I thought co-parenting was something a little bit different than what it actually is, and I can admit that. I thought co-parenting was two people, not, necessarily just the biological parents. I thought co-parenting, when you meet someone and they have a child, you co-parent with them, or you get married and you have a stepchild, you co-parent with them. But from what it looks like, it's more or less a biological thing by definition, but we can expand and just have that conversation to make it more broad, because families look a lot different these days than it did back in the day when it was, male female relationship. We have all types of um family dynamics. We have female and female, male and male. We have step parent, adoptive family. So we're just going to keep it broad and have that conversation. Nikki said, "Yes, I am doing it now. We respect each other." Wow. Okay, Nikki. Go, Nikki. All right. So let me get to the definition of what a co-parent actually is, for those of you that was confused or is confused. So a co-parent is a parenting arrangement where separated or divorced parents work together as a team to raise their children, prioritizing the child's needs over their own personal conflicts. Does that happen all the time? I'm gonna read it again. Co-parenting is a parenting arrangement where separated or divorced parents work together as a team to raise their children. So I guess separated divorced parents, so I guess whatever the dynamics is, they could be your stepchildren, your biological children, I guess. Um, just children you raise, would that be incorporated under the co-parenting umbrella? Does it necessarily have to be biological? Imma just shoot and say it doesn't, because I guess I did some form of co-parenting, not much, but just a small smidgen of co-parenting. Nikki said because the relationship didn't work has nothing to do with the parenting. I totally agree. So I'm going to share my thoughts on co-parenting. I have 3 beautiful children. And I was gonna say recently divorced, but it's not recent. I have been divorced for 8 years. I had 2 children prior to my first marriage. I mean, prior to my second marriage. I've been married twice. So my ex-husband and I raised my 2 children that I had by my first husband, who's deceased, rest in peace, and our own child that we had together. I am a firm believer, and I don't want anybody to get offended, that children are brought here. They didn't ask to come here. They didn't ask for anything that's involving, the two parents. Whatever happens between us is between us. But I feel that it's our duty as parents to give them the best case scenario for life. And for me, I felt it was my responsibility to make it work with the other parent so that my children would grow up with both their mother and father. And we have to work through our issues. And then if, God forbid, we don't want to be with each other once the children are grown, then we separate. We do that. We walk away from each other. So co-parenting for me was not an option. I felt that we came in here, we made this decision to be together, we made this decision to have our child together. That makes 3 kids that we're raising. We're riding this shit out. Fuck how I feel, fuck how you feel. This is what we're doing. It's about the kids. And everything else in the middle, we have to work out behind the scenes. So co-parenting again was never an option for me. I don't know how everyone else feels about it, but that was me and my decision making. And I waited till my last child was maybe 16, 17, and then we got a divorce. We weren't compatible at that moment. We was just like, "You know what? We just, we had our issues, but we did what we came to do. We raised our children." Anybody else have that same thought process, share the same sentiment like I do? I see everybody's quiet. They're like, "Wait a minute." But that was my thoughts, and I was okay with it. I was okay with putting my life on the back burner, doing what I need to do, and being there for my children. And so was my ex-husband. And then when my daughter got 16 and a half, we got that divorce. We separated, and we didn't do exactly what was known as co-parenting in a sense. There's something out there called parallel parenting, I guess we did, because I guess it was more comfortable because she was much older. It didn't require us to do too many things together. And we still coexist like that now. Like, I don't have too many interactions with my ex-husband. He has started his life over. He has a girlfriend, God forbid. If she decided to be with him, that's fine. Hey, Lord, Lord, but we did what we needed to do. People in the chat, share your experiences. Have you co-parented? Has it worked for you? Or did you go my route? Did you decide to ride it out because you felt like, you know what, these kids deserve both their parents? That was my route. Now, to be honest, the reason why I did that is because I didn't want to deal with um the possibilities, the negative possibilities that could have happened if I decided not to raise my children with their father or their stepfather that they knew. I didn't want to deal with that. I didn't want to go through any of the possible scenarios. For instance, with the co-parenting, I'm noticing that a lot of the children could possibly feel neglected. I didn't want that for my children. I didn't want my children to possibly be molested or harmed. I didn't want my children to possibly be verbally or physically abused. I didn't want to sift through multiple men just to get to that piece, and nor did I want my children to see me in that light with multiple men. But again, that's just my opinion. So that's why I went my route. The chat is quiet tonight with this co-parenting. I don't know. Am I saying anything that's offending? Shout out, hello, Leonard Watts that's watching on TikTok. How are you? Please, if you're watching on TikTok or any of the other pages, share your perspectives on this. Let me know how you feel about co-parenting. Hi, King. I see you on IG. But yeah, all of y'all are quiet. What is your perspectives? Am I saying, go ahead on and check me. Am I saying anything that's out the way? Go ahead on and check me. I just didn't want to go through all of those things and not with my children because I didn't feel like, they deserve that experience. So you probably like, well, how did that work for her? Well, my children, they're grown, well-adjusted kids. I have my oldest on her way to med school. She's supposed to start in June. Well-rounded kiddies. My oldest daughter is a nurse. I mean, she is just a little bit upset with me and her stepfather because she felt we was a little bit too stern because she had a two-parent household and most of her friends did not. But it's all good. They made it out and they out doing their thing. but I just never wanted to co-parent. I did, like I said, I did a little bit of parallel parenting. So now, since nobody is saying anything, I must be on to something, or y'all probably taking notes, or you probably was sitting inside your house saying, you know what, me and this girl ain't working out. I got my children. You know what? I'm listening to Peach. I just think I'm gonna ride it out. I'm gonna ride it. Yeah, I rode it out. All right. So this part of me, with me saying all of this, right? It makes me think about something Tim said on Friday night about women with multiple children and his dating experience, trying to date women with multiple children, and how the woman feels that, meeting a man outside of your marriage or your relationship or your baby daddy becomes difficult for them because the expectations is more for the potential, mate, than the guy that you actually had the babies with. So I'm going to share this clip, and y'all let me know what y'all think. And he said something so bizarre at the end that I was like, "What? What?" I didn't even know this was happening. But anyway, let me play the clip.
Why does this man have to have so many things in order to be with you when the white man giving you everything you got? So why you telling this black man that he has to have these? He has to make X amount of money. When you dating him, he's got to pay for you and your kids. Is we showing up to take women on dates? You walking up to the car, or the truck, saying that I need $250 for a babysitter.
Oh, wait a minute, I'm on the mute. I was saying, I'm sorry, I was on mute. Y'all saw that clip from Tim. What are y'all thoughts about that? Is that the real expectations now of women? Once we step out of these relationships and we have these multiple children, do we put the expectations that we had from their fathers onto our new man? And is that really fair? Thank you, Lord, Lord. Yeah, I realized I was muted. Is that really fair? Is that fair to do? I don't think it's fair. I absolutely don't think it's fair. But I'm going to go ahead on and drop the link. And if you want to come up and share your co-parenting experiences, again, Toya picked this topic, so she must have had a lot to say. She is not here tonight. This really isn't my experience. I didn't choose to co-parent, and when I did, it was for a brief moment. So let me drop the link in the chat, and you come on up and you tell me what you think. Because, honey, I was not about to put myself through that freaking situation of co-parenting and having to worry about all the things that come along with it. Link is in the chat. Click it, come on up, and you share your experiences. So now I'm going to tell you exactly why I didn't do it. I don't know about the rest of you ladies. I had this fear, this ultimate fear, that if I was to co-parent, I would meet a man that would abuse one of my children. And for me, that alone, I could not stomach even the thought of it. I couldn't, no. Just to even try to meet a man and go out on a date with him, and then get to know him and then get to love him, and we get together and we try to have this family, and I got these two because I have two daughters and one son. So that's just double the fear. Now I'm afraid for my son too, but it's just double the fear when you have daughters. I was so afraid that I would run into a man that would have the sickness, that pedophilic sickness that, we let run rampant. Like, I only really date black men, but it runs rampant in the black community where you have that, the family know they got that uncle or they got that cousin, or that person that they know is sick like that, and they don't get this person help or report them to get them off the streets. And then it be that single mother looking for love, and then you meet that person and you think you got somebody and you bring them inside your home and they start touching on your child. I, for me, could not deal with it. I couldn't stomach the thought. um I've always felt like it was my responsibility. My children are mine. They didn't have to come here again. I keep saying that it's my responsibility to protect them and keep them safe. So I wasn't willing to do it. Absolutely wasn't willing to do it because I didn't want to meet a pedophile. Another fear of mine was I was absolutely afraid that maybe they won't be a pedophile, but they'll mistreat my children. Or maybe their family will mistreat my children. When, we get together, we at these family cookouts, it's all a snide remarks. Look, my son dealing with that girl with them children. I didn't want any of that for my kids. I didn't want any type of negativity to just touch any piece of hair or reach any of their thoughts, their soul, pertaining to me and my dating choices or anyone that I picked to be in their life. I didn't want it. So I just kept their father there. Now, if they're going to feel negative, you're going to feel negative about your dad. That was my thoughts. Another thing, I have a issue with I'm an independent woman, right? And just like Tim said, when you meet a man, the woman that wants the man to be doing all, I know that's not me. Very independent. So I would never want to get a man and he felt that I was relying on him for anything, especially for, my children, because my children, again, always was well kept, always was well taken care of financially. So I just for me, I didn't want any of those things. I see you, Maybach. You
Well, let
said
me
say
let me just let
PDF
me just
files.
interject real fast. Stop saying that word. I told you about these YouTube guidelines. You got to say PDF files. You
Ah,
can't say that
PDF
word you were just
files.
saying. Yes. You. I'm gonna send you. You got homework to do. Please. Yeah, because again, you got it. They don't like these words, just like the people with the J's. Can't mention the J's. You can't mention the 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 country we was just talking about on the phone. That's going to war. You can't mention the one that starts with the I. Can't talk bad about them. I'm telling you, this is serious. I'm gonna just leave it at that with the words. Let's say other words.
We will
But
say other words.
yeah, or PDF files. If you want to feel like you have to say that,
The
PDF
baby
files.
touchers. I'm just gonna say the baby touchers.
Nah,
But
listen,
go
man.
ahead.
No, listen again. We come up with lingos. That is the lingo. I'm telling you, please just say PDF files. You can't be that graphic and explicit with it. I'm telling you, you can't. You could just say PDF files. Just leave it at that.
Okay.
Please.
Well, I'm
Please.
gonna use the word maps. Go ahead now.
No, I agree with what you're saying. And I don't think it's just towards women. I mean, it should be more women because there's not a man around or I'm gonna just say this. I'm like that too. I'm super cautious. There's some females that I kicked it with. They never met my children. So it's not just men that do this stuff too. There's women that are very hands on, and I'm just being like PG when I say hands on, you know. Um, so it's not just the man thing, women too. There's we got teachers dating their students and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So it goes both ways. But me being a single father, I'm cautious of that myself as well too. And especially with women, how I feel towards women, they don't think about the security and safety of their children. Not all women, of course, but some women are just looking for this happiness or looking for a man to complete them, that they just don't get to know this person. They don't do background checks or whatever the case may be. That man just moves into the home and, starts doing what he's doing, sneaking in the daughter's room late night or sneaking into the son's room late night. So we need to be mindful of these things. You know what I'm saying? Just because somebody is presenting themselves a certain way doesn't mean, that's who they are. Because you could be with somebody. I watched a show one time. My mother was watching, and I watched it with her. It was on Lifetime, where this guy, I think I told you the story. He was a truck driver, and he, whenever he went to other states, other cities, he parked at the truck stops and would walk around to the closest neighborhood he could find. And he was, breaking into these ladies' homes and stuff like that. Well, he came to Massachusetts, and they already did a TV thing about it, whatever show. So I'm speaking on something that actually happened. So long story short, this man, he was consistently doing this and getting away because he was off on the road into the next state and never really leaving evidence behind. So long story short, he broke into this lady's house and try to get into their daughter's room. Thank goodness the daughter made some noise. The father and the mother fought him, held him till the police came. He got arrested. So what I'm saying is, I'm saying that story to say that this man had daughters himself and was married for well over 15 plus years, and his wife had no idea who she was married to. So you know what I mean? So I just say that I brought that example to make the point that you could be with somebody for a long time and they can have a secret life or a secret thing about them that you never knew about. So, and again, women need to be careful. Men too, but mainly women need to be careful of the men that they choose to deal with, and co-parent. And again, it's got to be something that somebody wants to do, because a lot of men ain't looking to take care of nobody else's children or child, especially if they don't have any children or have a child. You know what I'm saying? They want to be able to, yo, I'm going out with the fellas tonight, and you're telling me you going to work the third shift job, and I got to stay home with little Tyrone.
Well, I since you said most men that don't have children, but I have never been with a both my husbands never had children.
Hmm.
I was
Hmm.
their first baby mother. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I never s- seeked out men that had kids. So I
Hmm.
don't know.
Yeah.
That's just not my experience. I don't know.
Yeah.
And another thing, even when my first husband passed away, I did not leave him with my girl. I
Hmm.
had one daughter, one son. I was nervous about that. It took a while for me to trust him. And he used to be like, "Listen, I'm with you. I love you, and what do you think is going to happen here?" And I'm like, "No, I can't afford for anything to happen. That's why I'm behaving that the way that I am." So it took
Hmm.
me a minute.
Yeah. Well, I'll share a story. I have a friend that was accused by a little girl, and when the truth came out, when the little girl got older, she was like, "Mommy, I lied." And the mother was like, "You lied about what?" And she was like, "Oh, I lied. Remember when I told you, so and so touched me and stuff like that?" And the mother was kind of like shocked, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. So, you got to be careful. Kids lie, Remember we had a show called, Parents Lie Too, Children Lie Too, big time. You know what I'm saying? And you'll have some protective parents that will automatically believe, the child, and that lie can ruin somebody's life. Just like this innocent men and women that never committed a crime, and things point to the basically they know that, hey, we don't have no evidence of this person committing a crime, but because somebody said this, they picked the person out of a lineup, you know and to a lot of folks, some certain people look the same. You get what I'm saying? And some people are sitting behind bars off of just what somebody said. There's nothing, the person didn't do anything, there's no evidence, there's no DNA, there's none of this, and they sitting behind prison. You know what I'm saying? Behind some bars for something that they didn't do, for something that they was accused of. Like, this dude is not, he's not that type of person. And I could say that because I personally know the dude. You know what I'm saying? And the little girl waits till she grows up to tell her mother, like, yo, it was a lie. Thank goodness, he never went to prison, no cops was called and all of this other shit. But imagine if he did go to prison and was convicted off of a lie. A lie. I don't know what possessed the little girl to lie, you know what I mean, and stuff like that, but these things do happen, so that it's serious, man. That's nothing to play with. And like I said, it's not just you. You said, you didn't, leave your children at home with the guy that you was dating or you was with. Men are like that too. Now, not all men, but me, I know I'm protective over mine. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't leave them there with some female. It's not realistic. And just because I'm with somebody doesn't mean that person, that's my children, or this person's responsibilities all of a sudden now. That's not
Right.
logic. You know what I'm saying? That's not logic to me. That don't make no sense. That I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I got this girl. She's a nurse. She makes this much of money. Now she could help me take care of my children. Like, how does that
Mm.
sound? And there's people that think like that. There's people that's what
And
they
that's
do.
some bullshit because I'm not doing it.
Yeah, there's some people that actually think that way. That's their mind. That's their mindset. They will find someone who's making good money and say to themselves, this person is going to help me take care of my children. And that's telling you about that person, who that person truly is, you know? And that's
Mm.
crazy.
Well, what
Yeah.
is some of the positives of co-parenting? Because we had listen, y'all. Me and Maybach talk behind the scenes. He already knows I don't have a co-parenting experience. I have very limited. Like I said, my daughter was damn near out of high school. What are some of the positives? Because I just could not. For me, I just didn't never look at any positive. I just saw all the negatives, the red flags, and said, "I'm just gonna ride it out."
Mhm. Well, you asking me? I don't
Yeah.
I don't know. I never had that. I never had that. Again, I told you, I've spoken to some females, dated some females. They knew I had children. They never met my children.
How about
They
the co-parenting between you and your child's mother?
Oh, I mean,
You 2.
the
Yeah.
co-parenting between me and the child's me and the mother of my children, everything is great. I mean, like I shared with you a little bit, it's the communication on her end that I kind of like, dislike. But other than that, it's good. Like, our conversations is only about our children. Like, what she's doing, I don't care for, and whatever I'm doing, she doesn't care for. Our conversations is only about our children. And 9 out of 10 times, I don't really talk to her. I'm talking to my children. Like, when I call, my children got their own phones and stuff like that. So, I speak to them, you know,
Mm,
um, and whatever we went through, we never brought it up in front of the children. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not those type of parents to be arguing and, doing this and doing that. I don't uh talk about her to my children. You know what I mean? I don't I never understood why women do that. They telling the daughter, oh, your father's a piece of trash, or the son, your father's he's a bum, and why do that? Like that's crazy to me. So we never had those dynamics. Like however we feel to each other, we already express to each other. You get what I'm saying? Like so but on for me, the co-parenting is cool. We don't have no issues. You know what I'm saying? Again, it's little minor things, you know what I'm saying? But that's on her end, that ain't on mine. Like me, I'm super again, you know me, I'm blunt. You know what I'm saying? It's either you get me or you don't, and that's cool if you don't. But I'm not gonna not be me. So when I don't like something, I speak on it, and she gets upset. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
Mm. See, I just dropped the link in the chat. Again, we're talking about co-parenting. Toya is not going to join us tonight, and she selected this topic. I have very limited experience in it, but I'm glad to listen to what the viewers, what your experience is. So I asked y'all earlier, would you be a great co-parent? And I guess for me, no, I would suck at it. I would suck because, and I'm not trying it really. I just want to raise the kids. It's our responsibility. And then we can go about our life. We did the crime, we doing the time. That's how
Hmm.
I'm rolling with it.
Hmm. Yeah.
We could come up with some agreements.
Yeah.
Even at this age, if I was to have a child, I would say, listen, dude, we stuck for the next 18 years. Whatever your problem is, you better get over it because we riding this out.
It's more than 18 years. It's for life, man. It
Well,
ain't
it is
18.
for life. I'm talking about
Mm.
the rearing stage. The
Yeah.
rearing stage.
Hmm.
We gonna ride it out till we gonna try to make it to 18. And then
Yeah.
after that, go on about your business. If we don't want to be together, I go about mine. But we know our child was safe and secure. We were both there to have eyes on that. And that's,
Yeah.
what's important to me. More so than my own personal freedom, my own personal anything that I could think of. I always put my children before myself.
That's the way it should be. But not everybody's like that. Unfortunately, that's the sad part. A lot of women use the children or child as a pawn, and that shit is dumb to me. That you keep a child or children away from their father, and it's like, yo, you feel the way you feel, maybe, and again, it's just like, yo, whether he left you for another female, he cheated on you, or however whatever happened in the relationship, once there's a child, there's another life form, it's no longer about you, and it's no longer about, him. And that's the thing that I stress to her. This is bigger than us. It's more than about us. It's about these two children that we have. We have a son and we have a daughter. So it's all about them. Like how you said, everything we do moving forward, it's about them. No matter how we feel towards each other, let's do what the best that we can do to raise them. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's more important. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that.
Yeah.
Again, the main thing I can complain about is, the lack of communication on her end. But other than that, I really, I don't have like some of the stories that my homies might have where they haven't seen their children in months or years, and they're in the same city, same state. You know what I mean? So, but it is what it is, man. You know, like me, when mines ain't with me, we talk every day. You know, matter of fact, before I came on the live, my daughter called me. And it's always through video. We don't never talk audio. It's always FaceTime.
I ain't get there yet. I ain't get there yet, y'all. I don't use FaceTime like that. um, and I just want to put this out there, right? I always thought about child support as kind of like a waste of money in a sense. Um, I always thought, together, the money that, that other parent put out in child support, y'all can actually take that money and put it into a better lifestyle for the children so that they
Correct.
grow up um better than you and then they propel themselves forward ahead of you. So I don't know. Again, this whole co-parenting thing is foreign to me. I'm not with it.
Now I feel you
Not
with the
with it.
CS because the CS CS take a percentage off of that. So it's just dumb. You know what I'm saying? It's just dumb. You know what I'm saying? To do that. And again, which we talked about, which certain people should know, it's out there. You could research. Minnesota Supreme Court Justice already ruled it unconstitutional. You know, it's unconstitutional because again, you're affecting the man because you don't make payments, you're behind or whatever. They take your license. Now, I don't know about other states, but I could speak on Mass. Mass, they flag your car by the VIN number. So if you behind, they don't just take your license, but they take, you can't even drive your vehicle. And that's crazy. So how am I supposed to help not just myself, but help my child or give money if I'm not able to drive to and go to work because I don't have a license or my car is flagged? You know what I'm saying? So these are the things that, of course, women ain't thinking about. You know what I'm saying? It's more out of bitterness or whatever. I'm not saying if a man ain't taking care of his responsibility that you shouldn't, go do something about it. But if a man is and's been doing something and you throw him on there just because you want bread every month, that is dumb. But I digress.
But doesn't that apply on the opposite end if the man takes custody of the children? Do the women experience the same thing? Wouldn't that be
Yeah.
the same
Well, that's
across
why.
the board?
Correct. But that's why Trump passed the law where men can now file for child support. It's like, yo, the women been doing it for years. Now he's giving the men their rights too. And I feel him on that. Again, people could feel however they feel about this president. You know what I'm saying? There's some things that we may not agree on, but there's some things that I do like that he does, such as things like that. You know what I'm saying? Again, people just get caught up with people's like, how they are. Like, why wouldn't you want somebody who's upfront and blunt and honest with you compared to somebody who's lying to you? You may not like the way they do. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know. But again, I like what he did with that when it comes to that. Like men could file now their taxes and claim the children. Like that should have been like that. It should have. Go ahead.
They have. I don't understand why there had to be a law. My ex-husband was claiming my daughter, so I'm again.
Yeah, but that's very rare though. It's very rare. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it never happened before. That's not what I would ever say. But it's very rare. 9 or 8 out of 10 times, it's the woman doing it. The men ain't
Mm,
doing it, and some men don't even know their rights. They're not even researching their rights, you know, and stuff like that. Remember, I told you a friend told me that men could go and file for CS and put, you know what I'm saying, and set a cap and all this other stuff. I didn't know that till he told me that information in a conversation. Some
mm.
people don't even know that. Some men don't know that. You can go yourself, put yourself on it, and set a cap, and you could keep getting raises at your job, and the woman will not get more money because she already agreed to this amount of money and stuff like that. There's rules, there's stipulations. Like a friend was telling me the other day, the caseworkers they get a percentage off of the bread too. How is that? You know what I mean?
I
All
thought
of
that
these.
was the state. That's
It's not.
strange.
It's not just the state too. Yes, that your caseworker, whoever's on your case, they get a percentage as well too. Like that should we shouldn't be shocked about that. This is a corporation. It's about capitalism. Yeah, everybody's got to get paid, right? So yeah, even the caseworkers catching it. And we could go on and on. The judge is not a real judge. That's another thing we can go into, but I'll leave it.
No,
You
we'll
know.
leave this for another
Yeah.
show.
Correct. Correct. That's what I'm saying. So, but. Yeah.
The daggone chat is quiet. Nobody has anything to say about this topic. I knew this one was going to be heavy. I told Toya this is a heavy, heavy one. This co-parenting, because the chat is like, mom, I don't have nothing to say. You'll
Mhm.
never clip this live stream and take it to court with you. I ain't got nothing. But yeah, I don't have any of these negative experiences. Every woman that I personally know and this is gonna it's sad, the men don't co-parent. They just leave. They leave and they don't be involved. So, mm.
That's crazy to me. That you could lay down and create a life and you just dip.
Yep.
That's it. That's crazy.
Yep.
I couldn't do that.
That's a lot of my friends' experiences.
I wouldn't be able to look at myself, man. Seriously, I wouldn't. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, but it's life, especially, in our community. I mean, think about growing up. I
Hmm.
grew up in a two-parent household. A lot of my girlfriends didn't, well, some of them did, but then for the most part, a lot of them didn't have
Hmm.
fathers.
Yeah.
And the two girls on my street that did have stepfathers,
Hmm.
they became the statistic where the
Hmm.
stepfather touches the little girl.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I was adamant, no one's getting my girls.
Yeah. Got to be careful, man. It's not just in the house. It can happen at school. It can happen anywhere. You know what I mean? So it's got to be mindful. That's why I talk to both of my children. I let them know, like, listen, man, y'all at school, anybody, I don't care who it is, touches y'all inappropriately, you let your mama know and you let daddy know, you know, and we'll handle it from there. Cause me, I'm gonna go for mine. I ain't letting nothing slide. For real, I ain't letting nothing slide.
Yeah, well, you can control your house. You can't control outside. You only, like you say, you can raise your children with wisdom and give them techniques to look after themselves when you're not around
Hmm.
outside, but you control the inside of your home.
Yeah.
You got control of that.
Uh,
So, mm-mm. But it looks like nobody really has anything to say about this topic. Again, I wanted to go live because I love consistency and I know how y'all love the check in. So hopefully Toya will be joining us next week. I'll give you a few more minutes to pop up. And if not, I'm just going to go ahead on and play the commercial for 1804 Essentials website coming soon so you can order your shea butter. Anything you want to say about that?
um, I do have an email. You know, they can still place orders through the email for now until the website is built. That's all I
Oh,
want to add.
okay, well, tell them what it is. They don't magically know your
Oh, the
email.
email is the email is I thought you was gonna put it up there, but the email is 1804 essentials at gmail.com. So 1804 essentials at gmail.com. You gonna roll the
Everybody
clip?
got that? Yeah, wait a minute. I was trying to put it up there.
And you ain't even ready. Come on. Come on. What are we doing?
Wait a minute. Making sure I can catch everything so quickly. But yes, that's for pre-orders. Just go ahead and email 1804essentials at gmail.com. Get them orders rolling in because I have a feeling when that website comes, you probably ain't gonna have nothing to sell.
Mm,
I'm gonna speak that into existence. But
that's what we want.
yep, I'm gonna play this clip and then we're gonna get out of here. Toya, we discussed your topic, but I guess only you know what energy you wanted to bring behind this. But Peach, fun loving, sacrificing mother, mother hen, mother overbearing mother wasn't with it. So if y'all learn anything from our playbook tonight, you still raising children, don't do it. Stick it out. Try to have the conversations. Chain that food to the radiator.
Nigga, hold on. Don't say don't do it. Just, I would say this, man. Get to know the person first before you introduce somebody to your children and stuff like that. You know, especially some of y'all women, or the people you choosing or whatever. These things be seasonal sometimes. You don't want your child or your children to get attached to someone. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing too. You got to be mindful of. So. But again, yeah, just take your time. Get to know the person, man, before you bring them around your children. That's the best advice that, or I can give anybody or say out there, is to take
Nope.
your time. Go ahead.
I say ride it out. When I say don't do it, meaning don't. If you can work it, of course, if it's highly abusive relationship, leave, and try to find your happiness or whatever. But if you have somebody that's kind of reasonably, well, you could work it out with them. They're reasonable. Y'all can have a conversation. Y'all can sit and talk. Let's try to ride this out for our children. Let's be there to raise them, give them the best life. Maybe we could even communicate. Okay, together we'll stand as a force with them, but we have our own separate life until we get them to a certain age. If you can work that out and you will and do that, because that was just better for me. I think children deserve both parents. They don't deserve
Correct.
to go through the unnecessary struggles because you didn't like the way he was breathing, or he made one mistake, and God forbid he's not perfect,
Hmm.
because you are perfect when you really are not. Just,
Correct.
if you could work it, work it.
They
Don't put
definitely
the
need
children
both.
through it.
They definitely need both parents in their life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They need the masculine energy, and they definitely need the divine femininity energy as well too. So that is real. I'm glad you brought that up.
All right. Well, I'm gonna play this clip and then I'm gonna get on out of here because no one has anything to say. They just sitting back like, I ain't talking my shit tonight because they don't want to hear what I got to say. Well, really, I do. They gonna change the way I see you. Everybody has their own perspective, but here's the commercial.
All natural essentials. Feel the vibrant flow. Let your skin shine. Watch the natural glow. For skin that deserves royal treatment.
Deeply nourish your skin with 100% all natural essentials 1804, packed with vitamins A, E, and essential fatty acids.
Feel the rhythm, feel the glow. Watch my natural beauty flow. Golden skin from head to toe.
All right. Well, this is the show. Well, that was the commercial. And I hope y'all do go ahead on and email and get your shea butter right away. It's great and awesome for the skin. Hopefully there'll be some other natural products added to the lineup. And the website will be done. I am working on it. Give me about a week or two to get it officially done. I have so much going on. um, so that concludes this show. Please join me for an awesome topic of my choosing this Friday at 8 p.m. ish, streaming on my page with my special guest Tim that you saw in the video that said he is not down for paying $250 for your children because the baby father not around the baby. See, he's not doing it. We're gonna have us a great time on Friday. We talking about get into the bag. What are some of the unconventional ways that you have gotten to the bag? And now we want you to go all the way in. We want you, you know what, from right now, from the time you watch this, I want you to dig deep inside yourself and say, what kind of effed up craziness did I do to get to the bag? Think about it. And I want you to share it with me on Friday. It's going to be a great time. Tim has some really unconventional stuff to discuss. I cannot wait. Um, Mel, you got some unconventional ways you done got to the bag. I know you do. I know you do. Look, and he's on mute. Um, and I wonder if being a doughboy is really unconventional nowadays. But y'all will tell me on Friday. With that being said, I thank you for joining in on the check-in. Please like and share the live. Toya will be back next Sunday. I'm unsure what the topic will be, but I'm sure it's something that'll be phenomenal. And again, join me on Friday, 8 p.m. ish on my channel. Also, download my mobile app. You're going to love it. It's a lot of information. There's a lot of behind the scenes with my guests that's in there. You can actually watch all of these shows right now. This one is streaming inside the app. All right. So I'm going to go ahead on and get on out of here. I love y'all. Enjoy the week. And remember, Friday, let me know the unconventional ways that you get to the bag. Y'all have a good night. Peace. Later.